Hello, everyone. Welcome to another backstage interview from the September edition of the Metals Investor Forum. I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven, and I'm joined by Stuart Rogers of Edgemont Gold. Stuart, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Gwen.
So we've had this sort of conversation a few times backstage at MIF, always virtually. Maybe one day we'll be live in person again.
I look forward to that.
And me too. Since Edgemont got going, which was not that long ago, less than a year ago. And the whole concept has been, testing this porphyry target. And the exciting thing is that now you're there. Now you're actually testing it. So you want to just describe the porphyry target, in brief, like why we're all so interested and why we've been waiting for this drill test for so long. Describe the porphyry target, then we can get into what the drilling's doing.
Okay, I guess the main target, this area hasn't been worked drilled since 1976 with only shallow holes. We came in, acquired our initial block of ground in 2018, acquired more ground, did the work, did the soil sampling, graph samples, had good copper grades, surface, good gold grades. We then did a magnetic survey that then identified, a big target. And we then, next step was an IP survey, in 2020. And came back with a high chargeability anomaly, just a huge target, 1.2 kilometers across, and just begging to be drilled. So we got pretty excited about that. And, all the indications, all the work had been done. The next step is let's go drill. So we filed our permits in December. We got ahead of the pack to get going because we're just anxious to drill it. And obviously, the sooner you get going, the better off you're going to be. And, the permits came through with some delays. They came through in June, and we got the driller on the property in August. So a little bit behind what we originally hoped for in December, but that's kind of the way things go in the industry right now. But we're there, we're drilling. We're excited about that. We started drilling in August on this target area, the main target, the 1.2 kilometer anomaly. And we'll talk about another target to the north that the IP and the magnetic survey showed us as well. So, that's something that's pretty exciting as well that we're going to be testing in this program. We got the drill on site. The driller's ready to go on the 20th, put out a news release, and we were going to start in the next couple of days. And then that night, the drillers didn't show up. So it's a problem getting drill crews these days. Everybody's busy. So I kind of freaked out and didn't sleep very well that night. Finally got a hold of the owner of the drill company on the next morning. Called his office. He called me back from his cell phone an hour later. I said, "What are we going to do?" And he says, "Well, I'm already down 45 meters." I said, "What?" He said, "Well, the guys didn't show up. So myself and my partner, we came and we're drilling. So they're doing it with a helper." And I just fell off my chair. I just could not believe this. I thought he was kidding, but it was real. And he did that. So I'd never heard of that before. And that was service above and beyond. So that was very impressive to get going after all this waiting. And the other thing, when we talk about infrastructure, the fact we're so close to Houston and we're about like an hour from Smithers, which is a service camp, the source for all of exploration further north and around the area. That's where the driller's based. So for him, it was an hour drive down, got on the rig and was able to do it. So if we're in the middle of nowhere, that would never have happened. So anyway, we got going, we got started on it, and they did a good job, and probably as much as they wanted to. Eventually, other crews showed up, and now we got two ships going. He's not on the property anymore, and he's happy about that. He's got a company to run, and we're making really good progress. So we drilled the first 3 holes now are completed. We're drilling 500-meter holes roughly. First couple of holes were just around that zone when we finished up. And then the third hole, which is the one we're most interested in, was drilled in close proximity, almost not exactly twinning, but sort of following up the same mineralization by the only deep hole that was drilled on the property in 1975, a 333-meter hole. We drilled sort of close to that to sort of test what we'd had from the drill logs because we had no assays, and we are hitting the same mineralization, roughly the same spots that they reported. So we're very excited about that. And as we were drilling too, the instructions were, if we like what we're seeing, keep going. So we went past that. So we finished up that hole around 550 meters and moved on to the next one. So we're on and that was a few days ago, and we're on the 4th hole, which is actually hole number 5 on the sort of our plan. As you get out in the field and you see the plan, the logistics were just way better to drill that hole. as opposed to what we had thought was going to be drilled hole 4. So, in the field, the geologists and the drillers can sort of make their decisions and move there. Now, that hole is interesting because it's testing another IP anomaly that's never been tested before, just to the north, that's under a bit of overburden. So we're drilling that one right now. The next hole is going to be close to that, 6 on the PowerPoint for anybody who wants to go and reference it. Then the last hole of the program will be number 4, which is back on the initial 1.2 kilometer Dungate anomaly. So we like what we're hearing from the drill core. Too early to sort of make too many projections of what we're going to see. But we're seeing the mineralization according to logs. We're hoping it's going to run, and we're just going to be waiting on assays, which we're cutting core as fast as we can, getting that to the lab. I think the last discussion we had, drill assays are better this year, but it looks like, we're near the end of the season, and it's going to take a while. So I'm not going to promise people are going to get them in the 6 weeks we were told. We found out that's not going to happen, and they're even admitting it now. But we're getting everything in as best we can, and we should have, if we wrap this up the way things are going, if they keep up this speed, we'll wrap up the program the next couple of weeks, and we'll have everything in the lab. We can have everything back probably by end of the year, January, probably be realistic. So hate to tell people that because they like to hear it's going to come sooner, but that's just reality to do it properly. And we're going to be assaying all the core here too, because we really want to get a good understanding now from the drilling of what everything that we're seeing, all the mineralization. So it's going to take a little time.
Well, that was the easiest interview I've ever done. I didn't even have to ask a second question, and you went with nice piece-sized bits of information. You went through the whole story. I didn't even have to ask a second question. So thanks.
That's what I asked the geologist when I talked to him. So I figured everybody else would want to know. Thanks, Gwen.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for the update. And of course, we will all send vibes to the assay labs to get it done faster, but it is what it is. I'm glad the drillers showed up and that company pulled through for you. And let's keep our fingers crossed that what it looks like in the rocks comes through in the numbers.
Well, I'm going to go up next weekend and have a look as well. Joe Campbell, our geologist, the guy that's really identified and got us to this point in the project, coming up as well. And we just waited for a little bit of time to do it. When we get up there, we want to get a good cross-section of core to have a look at. So that's going to be happening next week.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy your trip up there, and I'll have to talk to Joe afterwards.
Great. We'll bring you up to date.